Hello, hello, hello. We're back. And before we open, because we're closed right now. Before we open, I wanted to just put something out there into the ethos. Um, Look, I want to acknowledge that the world has lost its mind, honey. It's in full chaos. The world, not just America, the world. And I wanted to say thank you guys through everything that's going on for kind of coming over here. And from where we are, because Scott's here, from where we are to wherever you are, we want to wish you guys peace, joy, and happiness. And I want to thank you guys for coming over and hanging out with us. And I hope that this channel provides you with, of course, my main objective is, encouraging people to read. Just get a little more into reading, but also it is, to provide you guys with a little piece of happiness, a little escape from whatever, and just to hang out and have a good time, because I am, honey. So with that being said, we are now open for business, baby. We open for business. So of course, we are back on the case. I got to put my open thing on. And this is the outfit because, girl, somebody that got married up in one of these stories. Somebody that got married, so I had to come with my rendition of what I saw in my closet that represented a wedding dress. So, of course, we're back in here. We still on Sherlock Holmes, Volume 1, baby. We're going to be here for a while. Look at how thick that is. We're going to be here for a little bit. So, today's case is The Adventure of the Noble Bachelor. Sorry, I got my notes here. Y'all know I need these notes. And I want to start off with a word of the day, because I be learning words, even though like I read these books like for a long time. Sometimes you be like, oh my God, I forgot what that word is. So the word of the day, and Scott, are you ready for the word? Because usually Scott be knowing these words. Are you ready? Well, there's no pressure. There's no pressure here. This is the place for peace, joy, happiness, sweet escape, and little pieces of happiness.
All right, well, I'll do my best.
Okay, so the word of the day is piquant.
Piquant?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what that word means? Put it in the comment.
No, I can't say I know.
Okay, no shame, no shame here. So it means having a pleasantly sharp taste or appetizing flavor. Yum. So, okay, like that chicken is sitting over there that I got to make into white chili. I'm not cooking today because guess what? We're doing our LiteBrite. So y'all get y'all fun, get y'all arts, crafts, whatever you cooking, whatever. Let's get it together and let's get on the case. So again, we're on The Adventure of the Noble Bachelor. Okay, you ready, Scott?
I'm ready.
Okay, I hope y'all ready out there too. So, okay, remember we go back and forth with Sherlock Holmes, living with, being a bachelor, living with, or I'm sorry, not Sherlock Holmes, but Watson. We go back and forth with Watson, living with Sherlock before he was married, and then get married and not living with Sherlock and just popping up. So this is a time where he was living with Sherlock. So Holmes is out in them streets, he out and about, he doing whatever. And he was a soldier before he became a doctor. He was a soldier. So he had I guess a wound from when he was in war. And so, I don't know if anybody else's grandma used to have this happen. Did your grandma used to have this happen? If the weather was getting bad, her big toe, her ankle, wherever she had arthritis, it would ache.
I don't know if my grandmother had it, but I've heard people having that.
Okay. Well, so he's having his war wound is aching and throbbing because the weather about to get bad. So what does Watson do? He grab a bunch of gossip papers and magazines. Well, gossip columns. I guess it was like newspapers. So he grabs a bunch of them. And yes, in the 1800s, gossip was gossiping, honey. Celebs was running amok. The newspapers were paparazzi was chasing them. Yes, honey, in the 1800s. Again, the more things change, the more they stay the same. So nonetheless, so he grabs a bunch of them and he goes home because, again, his war wound is aching, honey. His big toe, his ankle, whatever's aching. So he goes home And he catches up on all the gossip. He catches up. He's sitting there flipping through and just being like, yes, okay, girl, there it is. Okay, so he gets caught up. While he's catching up on it, here comes a little letter from the nobility child. Okay, we got okay, we on the case with some nobles child. And so he doesn't open it. He waits for Sherlock Holmes to come home, and Sherlock Holmes comes home, and he's like, oh, okay, I see we got a letter. And he's like, I'm just gonna read, because again, Holmes be over here dragging. Here I am not doing my LiteBrite, but I'm gonna get this done. Let me read to y'all what Sherlock Holmes says. Because Watson is like, oh my gosh, you got a noble. And Sherlock Holmes is like, baby, hair flip, I don't care. So he says, yes, my correspondence has certainly the charm of variety, he answers, smiling. And the humbler are usually the more interesting. This looks like one of those unwelcome social summonses which call upon a man either to be bored or to lie. He broke the seal and glanced over the contents. Oh, come, it may prove to be something of interest after all. Not social then? No, distinctly professional. And from a noble client, one of the highest in England. My dear fellow, I congratulate you. I assure you, Watson, here go the drag. I assure you, Watson, without affection, that the status of my client is a matter of less moment to me than the interest of his case. It is just possible, however, that also may not be wanting in this new investigation. You have not been reading the papers diligently of late, have you not? So basically, Sherlock Holmes is like, I don't care about this person's status. Honey, they might have status, but they might not be the smartest. As Tiger Lily. So anyway, so he's like, okay, well, yeah, it's a noble. He was like, hey, have you read the papers? Because something that this man is telling me about in this letter was in the tabloids, honey. And so he was like, are you caught up on all of that? And Watson's like, absolutely, honey. My ankle, my toe, honey, my big toe was throbbing. So I had no choice but to sit here until it stopped aching, honey. The weather about to be bad. So he's like, okay, cool, because that person is supposed to be here in about an hour. So in about an hour, in walks Lord Robert St. Simon, honey. Okay, he's a lord, honey. He's a nobleman. And so, you know, he comes in, and Sherlock Holmes is like, okay, what's up? What's going on? And pretty much Lord Robert St. Simon's like, I know you read the tabloids. And Sherlock Holmes is like, baby, I don't. Yeah, you got the wrong dude, but okay, keep going. So he's like, I know you read the tabloids, and I know you saw that I got married, and you know, I know you saw that my wife kind of missed. And so Sherlock Holmes is just like, girl, what? Wait, you just got married like 2 days ago. Like, how is she missing? Like, what did you do? And he's like, no, he was like, it wasn't me. I need to tell you this case so you can help me. So I'm sorry, not you. So we, because it's us on this case. So you guys can help me, you know, find my wife. So Sherlock Holmes is like, give me the deets. And so I guess this man, you know, married a daughter of a millionaire. So, okay, don't forget, we're in Britain. So the Lord married a American millionaire heiress. Now, I want to put something out there with this little Lord here, this Lord St. Simon, honey. He has title, he ain't got no money. The family then went under, honey, like the Vanderbilts. The family then spent up all their money, honey, and they just got titles, okay? So he didn't ran up on some millionaire's daughter, some millionaire over in America. He probably went out to California, and like the Beverly Hills Billies, he didn't hit, well, they hit oil. This man struck gold, okay? He went out west, and that man struck some gold, and he became an instant millionaire because he invested. And so, you know, the homie, Lord St. Simon, was like, oh my God, I got title. If you got money, I got title. Okay, she could be a princess or whatever. Just, I need money. So he didn't marry this young woman. And so Sherlock Holmes is like, okay. And he was like, well, tell me about your wife. And he was like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. She's amazing. He was like, she grew up not going to traditional school because her dad was a miner. So she kind of grew up free spirited. And he was like, I love that about her, though. She's opinionated. She's all this and that. And she's wild. And if you say something to her, she's just going to pop off. He didn't say that, but he might as well. Which, like, never mind. That's another conversation for another day. What are you laughing, Scott? Why are you laughing?
Not laughing.
Scott over there laughing because that describes me a little bit. So he's like, yeah, she's amazing. And he was like, let me tell you something. She is a woman of good character and she would never leave me. I'm not saying she would ever leave me because Laura St. Simon is just full of ego, honey. That man just know he's something, honey. Laura St. Simon is the prize, honey. He just know he a prize, honey. Because my boy was like, she would never just walk off on me. I think she went crazy. If anything happened, she just went crazy. Because she wouldn't leave no man like me. And I'm like, okay, sir. So he's like, she's a woman of good character. So she would never do anything like, just wander off without like telling me. So he was like, I think my girl is okay. Y'all know what she gone, honey. She looking like this. That's what he thought. And he had went to Scotland Yard and got Inspector Lestrade on the case with him. I don't know why. Because you here with us with Sherlock and Watson and you and Scott and I. So what the hell would you go over to? But it doesn't matter. So he's like, I already put, Detective Lestrade on the case. And he's like, Holmes is like, girl, why? But whatever. So he's like, tell me about the wedding day. Tell me about yesterday. Because I mean, literally, this man just married this woman and she came up missing. So he's like, tell me about what happened yesterday at the wedding. So, the homie's like, yeah, she came out, like everything was good. He was like, the only thing that happened that was just tiny bit suspicious is while the bride was walking, there was some rando. He might as well just say rando. He was like some gentleman. He called him a gentleman. And then when Holmes inquired more, he was like, he was nothing. Because again, Lord St. Simon got the ego back. He got a big ego. Such a big ego. So, he's like, this rando gentleman was standing there and the bride, like, looked at him. I could tell something was going on. And then all of a sudden she just dropped her bouquet. And, she went to go pick it up. He was like, that's the only weird thing that happened. Everything else went off without a hitch. And so he was like, now something funny did happen that make me think that my girl is looking like that. And so Holmes is like, what happened? And he's like, well, before I got married, I had some on the side. I had my what would you call a person that you messing around with, and you messing around with her up until the marriage. What would you call that? I don't know any proper ways of saying that.
Side piece.
Okay, period. Side piece. Scott named her. So he was like, my side piece did show up to our breakfast the next morning, just raising hell. My girl then came up there like, no, that's my man. How dare you take him from me? And so they ushered her off. But he said, afterwards, the bride ended up and let me tell you the bride's name, Hattie Dorian. That's her name. She's the American Harris. That's the Hattie girl. We're going to call her Hattie. So Hattie, got a note, and all of a sudden she was like, oh, achoo. I'm going to excuse myself. And so my girl dipped up. She went and got her little hat, honey. She put a little bonnet. They said bonnet. She put a little bonnet on. And my girl, put her little cloak on. She said, okay, girl, let's get on out of here. And off she went. And they ain't seen her since. So what Lord St. Simon believes is, the what we call her jump off side piece. See, this is why I should not be naming. I have some very interesting ways look, I grew up where I grew up. So anyway, so he think the side piece sent her the letter, called her outside, and made her look like this thing right here. That's what he thinks. That was his, what would we call that? That would be his theory of what happened to the bride. So Sherlock Holmes is just looking at him like, sir, I already know what happened. It's like, sir, oh, okay. So the side piece got her. Oh, okay. Now we're gonna pause right here. We're gonna freeze. Scott, what do you think happened?
I don't know.
Because Sherlock already know.
Yeah, Sherlock's quick.
Sherlock said, I got case files. I've had like 20 women do this. Because that's what Sherlock said. He was like, oh, per my old cases, I already know what happened. I was like, sir, everything is nuanced, and that comes from you, but whatever. This is how this story going. So he didn't need no details. He was like, okay, whatever. So old boy was like, well, I think this is something that is way bigger than you or me, Holmes. This is what Lord St. Simon said. And Sherlock is just sitting there like, boy, bye. And let him out the door. He was like, isn't it cute that he turns to Watson, Holmes does. It says, isn't it cute that he didn't equated my intelligence with his? Look, the drag of Sherlock Holmes. Honey, they need to make posters. They need to make t-shirts with it. I know it's in like old English, but baby, the drags. He was like, that was cute. That he thought he was on the same, like, sir, where your money? Oh, and then, I got to read this part. Because he dragged him. Wait, I think I flagged. That was the second flag. Yes, honey. Look, Holmes dragged the noble in front of it. Look, he said, Lord who? Lord what? Lord how? Lord where, honey? We gonna read this. Here go the drag. Make this into it. This too long to be a shirt, but make this into something. A most painful matter to me, as you can readily imagine, Mr. Holmes. This is Lord St. Simon and Holmes talking. This is when he first came in. This is when Lord St. Simon first came in. This is Holmes' like 38th drag in this story. Okay, so let's catch it. I have been cut to the quick. I understand that you have already managed several delicate cases of this sort, sir, though I presume that they were hardly from the same class of society. Here come Holmes. No, I am descending. So do say, I beg pardon? Because again, he got a big ego, such a big ego. My last client was the sort was a king. Oh, really? I had no idea. And which king? The king of Scandinavia. What? Had he lost his wife? You can understand, said Holmes suavely, that I extend to the affairs of my other clients the same secrecy which I promise you in yours. Mind your business. He's like, sir, I'm descending in clients. Like, you are not the highest I've been. Okay, I'm going downhill at this point, sir. And why you being nosy? Don't you want secrecy? I give him the same. I'm definitely gonna give him more secrecy than you. You ain't even got no money. You're broke, is what Sherlock Holmes was, because he mentions it a couple of times in the book, and I'm just like, you better try. You better. He's like, he is just my title, baby. Ain't no money. So, So anyway, so Sherlock Holmes is still dragging this man. He drags him all through this conversation he having, and old boy is not picking it up, honey. He is not picking up that he's being dragged by Holmes. So, he leaves. So Lord St. Simon gets on down the road, and eventually Inspector Lestrade comes, meets up with Holmes. And he's like, "Hey, Holmes, I already solved it." I know you think you solved it, but sir, you don't know nothing. Even though like Lestrade be going to him for help, but whatever. He forgot. He got excited and forgot who Sherlock Holmes was. So he's like, "Oh, you solved it, did you? Okay, tell me what you got, because I kind of already solved it, but go off, sir. What you got, Lestrade?" So Lestrade is like, "Dude, they dragged like a pond or something, because they found her. I think they found her ring near a pond, if I recall right. But y'all supposed to be going to read the story. It's only 20 pages, so let's read it. I promise it's fun. It's good, and it is chocked with more details than what I'm putting in here. Nonetheless, he's like, we had to drag that pond where we found that ring, and oh my God, look at what we got. Boom. He pulls out the woman's wedding dress. And so he's like, we know old girl that made her do this. We know she a zombie, honey. We know that the what we call her side piece, because I was about to call her the other thing. We know the side piece made her look like that. We know. And Holmes is like, dude, that is not what happened. And so he was like, okay, you don't believe it? Look, we got the letter. And there's a little note with the side piece's initials talking about, hey, come on outside or something like that. And so, he was like, boom, that's enough. Scott, would you think that was enough? Would you think that that's enough to condemn that poor woman who didn't do,
No, I think you need a body.
There was no body. They were still dragging the pond. They were still trying to find her in the pond. Which, I mean, it's only been a day. Oh, you ain't got nothing?
No.
Okay. Oh, you are. Do I have everybody hanging on the edge of their seats? Do y'all want to know what happened? Oh, okay. I'm ending the live. I'm kidding. I'm such a funny person. So Holmes was like, girl, this ain't what happened, but okay, go off. Just don't arrest that girl, because, sir, you don't want to embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass yourself, because I'm telling you, what you think happened ain't what happened. So all of a sudden, Holmes turns to us, Watson, Scott, you, and me. And he's like, okay, well, y'all just go on. We know your pinky toe is throbbing, your ankle hurt, whatever. Your war wound is not giving you good feelings. So go on back, maybe read some more tabloids. I don't know. And I'm gonna come back to the house. I'm gonna see you at the house. I'm gonna see you at the house. I'm gonna see you at the house, Scott. Viewer, I'm gonna see you at the house. I'm not. So all of a sudden, a few hours go by, and all of a sudden, here comes some people dropping off food. Because why they have delivery service before we did? I mean, we had Pizza Hut and stuff. Like, these people were legit, like, making food in their kitchen and, like, bringing it over to them. We just now got Grubhub. When we get Grubhub? You could get pizzas delivered. I mean, that was like always. But I'm talking about full meals, not catered. Well, no, it kind of was catering. So anyway, these people bring over a bunch of food. And Scott, you didn't answer my question.
What was the question?
Why did they get like food delivery like Grubhub?
Why did they get it?
Yeah, they had it before we did. I don't know why nobody like took that old idea and brought it to the future before. Like, we should have been had that. In Asia, they been had it. Asians been on a little motorcycle thing with the little box in the back delivering food. Go off, Asia. So anyway, so these people come and they're just like setting up a whole meal for like a bunch, like 5 people. And Watson's just sitting there, his big toe aching, his pinky toe aching. his ankle aching, just watching like, girl, what's really good? What's really going on here? And so then Holmes walks in and he's like, hey, I solved it. Like I said the first 5 times. I don't know what Lestrade was talking about, but I solved it. And so Watson's like, girl, tell me what happened. And before he could do it, here come. Who do you think it was, Scott?
It was the woman.
Close. Very close. Who do you think it was? I'm kidding. So it was Lord St. Simon.
That was my second guess.
Okay, yeah. So it's Lord St. Simon, and he's like, where the hell is she? Where she was at? So Holmes had sent him a letter saying, hey, come on over to the house because I found your wife. You know, I've been in contact with your wife. And so, you know, then there's another. Who do you think it was, Scott? Who do you think it was?
The wife.
Yes. It was the wife and her husband. She was already married. She was already married. All right. This girl was already married. So here comes Sherlock Holmes again, savage. Sherlock for me is the ultimate dragger, and I think he's the reason why. Well, no, never mind. My dad, never mind. My dad and my aunties and them, never mind. Before I could read, were teaching me that. So here comes Sherlock Holmes talking about, I would like to introduce to you guys Mr. and Mrs. Malton. He didn't clap. He should have clapped. If I was there, I would be like, yes. A marriage is a marriage, honey. It doesn't matter to who. So you know, so Lord St. Simon is just not having a good time, honey. Not having a good time, okay? Because let me tell you something. I forgot to mention this. Never in sequence. Y'all know this is not a sequential channel. But in order for her, I don't know. I thought it was reversed. I thought the man provides the dowry. But for some reason, her dad, Hattie's father, provided the dowry to Lord St. Simon. So maybe he is the prize. So anyway, so he, you know, now that we discovered that my girl is married to not him, I think my homie got to get the money back. So he is like super pissed. Okay, my dude thought he had hit a lick, honey. So, you know, that was going on. And Holmes mentions that twice because he asked old boy about the dowry. And then he mentioned like this dude got to pay all that money back to Watson in the end. So anyway, so the homie Lord St. Simon is just not happy. And I wouldn't be happy either. Scott, if this was your situation, how would you feel? How would you feel out there?
Yeah, I don't think anybody would be happy.
No, I would be mad. I would have a problem. So he's like, sir, did you want to just go ahead and have this conversation with her? Did you want us to leave? Which I ain't going, no, honey. This would be too juicy for me to leave. Like, I would be like, Watson big toe hurt, and I got to be here with him for emotional support. I'm his emotional pet. I don't give a damn, whatever. I'm not going. He can't leave because he injured, and I ain't going because I'm his emotional support. Now, what are y'all going to say about what, girl, how are you married already when you just got married to him yesterday? Girl, what is this? Like, I would literally, we ain't going nowhere, honey. You're not going to bring me this far and leave me out. It's kind of like that episode we were watching last night. Remember? In the end, it just had no sound. So anyway, I'm sorry. So he's like, sir, did you need us to leave it? And dude is like, nah. And so he was like, did you want her to explain what's going on? And he was like, well, I'm here. You know, he mad, honey. Oh, it hit him in the feels. It would have hit me in the feels too, though. So he's like, well, I'm here. Just go ahead. And so here come Hattie. And she's like, well, I was walking. He was like, I intended to be a good wife to you. She was like, look, I intended to be your wife, honey. You know, I intended to do it. She was like, However, she was like, I was married to a man before you. You just didn't know about it because I secretly snuck off behind my daddy back and got married. However, so let me just give you the story. So Francis Moulton is the dude that she came to Sherlock Holmes' place with. That's her first husband, her only husband. So before her dad hit that gold mine, her and that dude like were girlfriend boyfriend. Like he was a miner too, so he's just out there mining and trying to hit gold, and her daddy out there mining and trying to hit gold. Her daddy hit gold, but he didn't, and so daddy getting rich, and old boy ain't got no money, and daddy's like, you need to let that one go because he broke. That's what daddy said. And so she's in love with this man. She's in love. She's like, I get what you're saying, but sir, we ain't always been rich, and I'm in love with him. So what do? They sneak off to the courthouse and get married without daddy knowing. And so old boy was like, I can't be married to you and I ain't got no money, so I'm gonna just go from state to state to state. I'm going to Arizona. I'm going to here. I'm going to there. He sounded like Bubba Gump. Remember, he was like shrimp cocktail, shrimp po' boys, and naming all kinds of shrimp. So old boy started naming all these states he was going to, and he was like, I'm gonna keep doing it till I strike gold. You my wife, you just gonna have to sit here and wait. That's what they could say in the 1800s, in America, even, because these are Americans. So she was like, so I set it down and I held it down for my man. This sounds like an episode of For My Man. So I set it down and I held it down for my man. And, he was sending letters until, he got to Arizona and the Apaches got him. And I got word back that he was looking like this. And so she, left him for dead. And then all of a sudden, here come, Sir Robert St. Simon looking to hit a lick. He needed to marry somebody rich so he could get some money with the title. And, and I figured I wasn't doing nothing. So I decided to go ahead and marry him. But then she said, as she was walking down the aisle with Lord St. Simon. Now, this is just a hell of a coincidence because don't forget, this predates internet, telephones, really. Like we did not have technology like that. So how this man figured out that this woman, was getting married while he playing like he was kidnapped by the Apaches? I think it was a John Smith Pocahontas situation myself. Because how you just escape and you escape like in enough time to come and disrupt this woman's second wedding. So she said she was walking down the aisle and she looked up and boop, there he is sitting in the row, just looking at her like, so you just gonna up and get married? Didn't I tell you got away from me? So she said at first she thought she was dreaming because they said the man was gone. They said he was like that. But then she said she realized like this man's really here. And so she said he went and he said, Scott. And so, she was like, okay. So she dropped her bouquet. She saw him writing. She saw him writing. So she just dropped her bouquet and grabbed the letter. And he was basically like, hey, girl, tonight, like, I don't know what kind of grip this man had on her, but that's some crazy grip. Because he was just like little letters was dictating. And when he left to go everywhere, he was just like, you ain't going nowhere. She was like, okay. She's very submissive. What say you, Scott?
Yeah.
Because ain't no way I'm about to sit up there doing all that. That sounds crazy. But that's just me. So anyway. So she said, he told her come on out. And so she went on out, but she felt bad. Now, this is where that wedding dress part come in. She felt real bad about what she was doing. She was like, dang, Lord St. Simon don't even know, like, he don't know nothing about this. Nobody knows. Hell, I didn't even know up until this moment. So she was like, I wanted to stage. So she was like, I took my wedding dress and threw it in the pond so it could look like I had went like this. So then he could just like move on. So she was a good woman. She just, girl, what say you about this situation, Scott?
It's a little weird, to say the least.
They needed reality TV back then. If this is what they were doing for real, this crazy. And they probably were. Because, honey, if you look at some of them royals, honey, they were just doing everything. They were running amok. Okay, look them up. I promise. Look on YouTube. Look them up. Like, just Google royals going like doing crazy stuff, and I promise you're gonna see all kinds of weirdness. So this may be something that really happened. So anyway, so Sherlock Holmes is like, see, told you, boom. I told you, I knew. I told you. He was like, when I read the letter, I flipped it over and it was a bill for his hotel. That's how I found him at the hotel, because he was like, I flipped over what he wrote on and it was the bill and it told me where the hotel was. I went over there and was like, hey, you need to come talk to Lord Simon because he over at my house getting on my nerves, getting dragged. He over at my house getting dragged. So I need for you to come talk to your man and tell him what happened so he can leave me alone. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep dragging him. So, he invited him over. He sent the letter to Lord Simon telling him, come on to the house. I found your wife. And he didn't say and her husband, but you found out. And, and so Holmes is like, hey, did you want to hang out and have dinner? I catered dinner for all of us. And Lord Simon was just like, I don't have to take. Do you know who I is? He went right on back. Like, honey, that ego cannot be dissolved, honey. And I say, Lord Simon, you better have your ego, honey. If you ain't got nothing else, baby, you got that ego, honey. You don't need no friend. You don't need no money. You got ego, baby. Period. What say you, Sky? He got that ego. I like it. So he was like, I'm out. She shook his hand before that. He didn't even want to do that. He was just like, girl, I got to pay back that diary, right? She could have made it right. You know how she could have made it right, Scott? Yeah, I would have been like, don't even worry about paying my dad back. I got you. Because I was wrong. Like, she should have made it right, like at least a little bit, because that's kind of messed up. But there was nothing she can do. And Holmes kind of stated that. He was like, what do you do in that situation, though? Who do you pick? Scott, who would you pick?
I mean, I guess you're already married, so.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to law, but viewer, what say you? What would you pick? So that kind of is the end of the case. Now, we've added something in here. Lessons learned. Scott, what did you learn from this story, if anything?
I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay, Scott don't know. Viewer, what did you learn? Don't worry about it. Put it in the comment. I learned this. Oh, there's a song by a group called The Internet. It's called Sunset. And in the song, Sid the Kid says, we forget what a big part all the little things can play, but that's okay. And I feel like that is like the essence of Sherlock Holmes, but this story as well, because Lord Simon was over there trying to drag people, but he wasn't paying attention to what was going on. Otherwise, he would have solved it just like Holmes did. Also, Inspector Lestrade was not paying attention to the little things. I think all of the people, whenever they come to Holmes, they're not paying attention to the little things, and the little things play a big part in everything. It takes little rivers to feed the ocean. So I feel like that is a lesson that we learn. So pay attention to the small things because they matter. Attention to detail is what the military would tell us. And then I also wrote, titles are just that. They don't equal complexity or anything much behind it. There's nothing much behind it. A title's just a title. Anybody can get a title. I learned that through work. Like, sometimes people kiss butt all the way into a title. So a title doesn't mean that they're smart or anything like that. And this is coming from Sherlock, honey, and life experience. But a title doesn't necessarily mean that they are complex or they're deep or that they're, anything. So just understand that through life. Sometimes people get titles just because, and it doesn't mean that they're better than you, or it doesn't mean anything sometimes. So, Scott, from that, did you learn anything? Or do you have any lessons from this story?
No, not really. Just no lessons. It's just awful big coincidence that this guy shows up from America on the day of her wedding. He was gone missing and knows exactly
He had got kidnapped by Pocahontas. Nope, I'm kidding. The Apaches is what they say.
Pretty fortunate for him that he was able to figure that out and be there on time.
FYI, y'all, Scott is the literal one. I'm the one with the imagination and creativity. Scott is so literal. Let me show y'all what I've done because we're about to get off. Girl, I think this is a unicorn with a rainbow tail. I don't even know what this is. I've just been pushing things through holes. I might do a short showing y'all the finished product. People seem to like that. I don't know why. It's LiteBrite. But anyway, that concludes the story of, the adventure of the Noble Bachelor. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll be on here some more. I'm gonna try to get a schedule. I don't know how that's gonna work. Because there are actual people that watch me. And y'all send me comments. I love it. So keep it up. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get a schedule, and I'm gonna try to, again, I want to mix in some Christopher Pike. I think y'all would like that. If you like Sherlock, you'll like Christopher Pike. So I'm going to try to mix that in. Also, I'm going to do some Aesop fables. I'm going to do all that kind of stuff because, again, I want to push people into their creativity and reading and getting that fun sense of things. So anyway, I will see you guys later. Be happy, be safe, be prosperous, be proud, read a book. And yeah, anything, do you have any last words, Scott?
No last words for me.
Okay, y'all have a good one. Bye.